This is WMNF Tampa. Surly Voices is a pre-recorded show today.
No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. Women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Won't stand still.
Your story is my story. Your story is my story.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host will be joining shortly. Wow. Talk about news every day. But the big news this week, of course, is that Kamala Harris picked her running mate, and he is Governor Walz from Minnesota. You may recall our very own Donna has been predicting and recommending Walz for at least the last 2.5, 3 months. So, we are very excited to see the energy that has come from her pick, and she seems to be playing to full houses everywhere. In other news, Trump is trumping, and Vance is vancing, and neither one seems to be landing any kind of punches like they would like to. They started this thing the other day. Oh, Walz is old, and then people started posting Walz is younger than Brad Pitt. So it was like, okay, your candidate is almost as old as Biden was, and he stepped down. So what do you have to say about that? If you want to join the conversation, please give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. And I see our very own Donna has joined us. How are you doing this morning, Donna?
You know what? I am. They don't call it campaign for nothing.
I was just bragging on how you've been recommending Walz for at least the last 2 months. So, how do you feel now that your prophecy has come to fruition?
Probably the same way that the people that were excited about Harris felt when people tinkled in their Cheerios. Yeah, because now the people on the far left, those folks are saying that Walz is no true liberal. There's this one kid on Facebook, Bobby Johnson. And whenever someone is truly, on that left edge, almost to like socialism, Marxism. I know they're not the same thing, so don't at me, please. But folks who are really out of the box, I listen to, because we have to pull this thing as far as possible in order to get to things like Medicare for all.
Right.
Any type of real conversations around reparations are taking place there. And so you have to listen if you are not all the way to the edge. So I listen. I listen to the right too, because I need to make sure I understand why they're there.
Right.
And so I listen, and I'm always willing to rethink where I am. And normally I take no coin from these politicians because I've worked with them for too long and I understand what they're about. Most of them are just self-serving megalomaniacs.
Yes.
And I would say about 90%. Doesn't mean they don't get good stuff done while they're being this, because sometimes they get tricked into actually helping people. But, if they could just be seen on the nightly news or be on, Colbert, or, and I know Noah is gone, but if they could just get on one of those shows, they will say they support the people, and they'll even pass legislation because it keeps them popular. So, but most of them are megalomaniacs.
Right.
Having said that, I met Tim Walz. He Zoomed with our team. He had asked to speak to the canvassers. No one ever asked to speak to the canvassers. And if they do meet with them, they patronize. They talk. It's condescending. It's very, very paternal, these conversations. You guys, you make this thing happen.
Right.
That was the conversation that Walz had. Nobody made him do this. This wasn't on television. He could have been a megalomaniac getting tricked into helping people or making people feel good. But nothing that he said or what his experience, 20 years as a school teacher, that's not where egomaniacs go to die. Yeah. Right? So, in the military, really? And then as soon as the guns started firing, he kind of took off. Like, I came here to get my student loans back. This is not really what I signed. I knew it was in the contract, but I didn't really sign up for it. So I would say that I am pleased. And let me explain to you, unless there's a caller in the queue, what this means for the future of American representative democracy. The fact that someone who made their state a sanctuary for trans people, the fact that he didn't stop at making sure that free lunch was available to children. That's a federal program. He made it the standard that kids are getting 2 meals a day at school. And if they need it, you don't have to go, your parents don't have to fill out anything. That's just, you go to school, you get a meal as a consequence of being there. Kind of like these big corporations that fleece us to pieces. Right. They get per diems of $75 a meal, but we can't feed our school kids. Yeah. So he made that a standard across the board. There are so many other things besides the fact that he is just freaking cute, right?
Very folksy and approachable.
I try not to get caught up in that because I feel like the Harris campaign is going to exploit that because he is all charm and all charisma. And I know that Shapiro wasn't. Shapiro had a lot of rough East Coast elite edges that weren't going to play well when paired with a Black woman, Black Indian woman who is also an attorney and a former cop. So they had to kind of go with Walz. I think that someone said to me, someone that lives living in the Middle East right now said to me that this is the illusion of choice. They had me all over the place. Oh. So my feelings of wanting him and thinking that he was the best thing that we could get, that the closest thing to a progressive we've seen at the executive level of the executive branch, all of those dreams and joys went away when people started saying the same type of things about Walz as they had said about Harris. And I'm kind of back at square one emotionally on this. But I still like him, but I feel like it's like if you are in a room full of scientists, you can't talk about Jesus. That's how they got me feeling today. Yes. The muzzle is on.
That went a place I never thought it would go.
You just around people who are going to judge you and call you a simpleton for having beliefs that they don't share.
Exactly. And that seems to be the way things go in at least online, it's like you say something that the folks in the room don't agree with, and the first thing they do is insult you. And so it's like, okay, really? We can't even have a conversation here?
No,
yeah.
they're like that. You can't have a conversation with the left. You can't have a conversation with the right.
Yeah.
You can't.
The extremes, yeah. Welcome, Dr. Maria Cole. Thank you for joining us.
How y'all doing?
Oh, we're just Thursdaying all day long, so. So what is your take on Tim Walz as the VP pick for Harris?
I'm delighted. I'm delighted
I
think
too.
I think that he's everything that I ever wanted. I mean, like I said this to Donna years ago that I really like Al Franken, but he's like better than Al Franken. Like he's funnier. He's like, we need somebody who's super smart and funny and has that kind of personality.
Right.
And it's long overdue. So, I mean,
and
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm also really enjoying the chemistry between the two of them. So,
yes. And that's one thing. I mean, I had said my wish list for the coup at the Democratic convention was Al Franken, but Walz seems to be a very good replacement for that. So, and no coup. I mean, Harris has been endorsed by Biden, and so it looks like she's going to be getting the nomination. What are the chances that we're not going to see her get the nomination?
You know what? I think that I think that the chances of her not receiving it are going to be remote.
Right.
Quite frankly, I think they've done a yeoman's job in locking everybody in. Mm-hmm. You have, of course, Florida being Florida, you got a bunch of stragglers in the delegation not supporting her. But, you know, I don't expect anything more from Florida. So.
Right. Yeah. Florida's going to Florida. And so one of the text messages we got here. So my question is, how much of his governor term is left, and can his lieutenant get to finish it? Wendy. Donna, do you know how much of his term is left as governor?
He's in his second term.
Okay.
Yeah, because we worked the coordinated campaign on his second campaign because, you know, it was, Minnesota, does things. And so we went there to make sure that he got back in that second round. So he's in the middle of the second term.
Okay. How much does he have left on it? Like 2 years?
Yeah. So he's got, I think he's got 2 years. Yeah. So he's right in the middle of it.
Now tell us about the lieutenant governor, because I know you were talking about the implications of him becoming the vice presidential nominee and the elevation of Governor Flanagan to the office of governor.
So Peggy Flanagan is of the Ojibwa tribe in Minnesota, and she would become the first American Indigenous woman. I mean, that's a big word, right? She's become the first American Indigenous woman to serve as governor of a U.S. state. And I believe when I went to do the research on this, there have been people who have had Native American heritage, of course. I mean, this is the United States, right? I'm sure everybody in that White House has all of the heritages. Obama had indigenous heritage, continental African heritage, and so we're a Creole people now. And so, but she's actually a member of a tribe. So we have to make that distinction. Many people carry the blood, but the blood quantum is the colonizer's medicine. And so culture and membership in a tribe is what makes you an indigenous American person in the United States. And she is. And so this would be a huge thing for our country. And I would love to see that happen.
Yeah. And she's fairly young. I mean, relatively in politician world, because politicians, it's like the scale seems to skew older. So
it does. And let me say this though, remember the kid I was talking about earlier, Bobby? Yes. One of the things he said that made me see my life before me was that at this time in 2016, Hillary Clinton was seeing exactly the type of numbers, exactly, almost like a mirror image of where Kamala Harris is right now. Right. And so we're not where we should be.
Yeah.
So we've lost the incumbency as one of those 7 markers that Lichtman talks about. Although he says a lot would have to happen for Harris to lose, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. We're seeing Trump up by 10 points in some polls in the state of Florida. We have to keep our eye on numbers like that because, you've ever seen someone run for president because they felt everywhere they went, people were screaming their name and they thought, oh, I'm going to run for president. And they run for president. 6% of the people say, yeah, we want this guy. So people get drunk off their own juice, right?
Sure.
Right now, we could very well be doing just that. So I think that we should assume anything at this point, right? Assume nothing.
Right. I think that that is correct because you never have something in the bag. You don't have something in the bag until you got the bag in your hand and something's in it. So yeah.
And I work in the field, right? And in the field, we say if you won by 3 or 4 points, that was a field victory. So people have got to talk to their family members and say, hey, you might not want Harris and Walz, but you definitely don't want Trump. And yes, the DNC needs to be taken to task for continually putting us in this situation. The party is broken. The party is dead.
Absolutely.
Nobody's going to forget that we got a president that wasn't nominated. Nobody's going to forget that we got a president. We have a vice president that was chosen by a non-nominated DNC option. It was given to us, much the way Biden was given to us. No one's going to forget that this apparatus is broken.
Yeah. I consider Biden shoved down folks' throats. I don't consider him a gift in any sort of way. But anyway.
Many people consider Harris shoved down our throats.
I think there was much more, I think it didn't feel as forced as when Biden was when they were mowing people down left and right to put Biden into the spot. Mayo Pete getting a cabinet post, stuff like that. I was just happy that Mayo Pete didn't get.
Oh goodness! Could you imagine? I couldn't even stand it. I couldn't stop breathing. But I think that what I see is we didn't choose Biden, and by extension, we didn't choose Harris. Harris is the best available option at this point because of where we were. Right. It was not a fair fight. People didn't evaluate a panel of candidates.
Exactly.
Even the last did evaluate a panel of candidates. They said, okay, you're getting this one.
Yes. You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit.
Right.
I've got some emails here. This is from Joe. He says, y'all are too good. Funny, smart, well-informed, well-grounded, funny, lively, relatable, engaging. Did I say funny? And awesome. I need to try to get some work done after being driven to the hot chocolate by Democracy Now! This morning, but I can't turn you off yet. Don't ever quit. Thank you so much, Joe. That is just awesome. And let's see, we've got Fran on the air. Hi, Fran.
Oh, hello. Yes, I know. I think things are turning out wonderfully with, vice president pick and everything. I'm almost afraid, though, to feel too good. It kind of scares me. When you feel too good about things, something always throws, a monkey wrench or something into it. Joe Biden, they showed him in a talk with, a journalist or somebody about how be careful if Trump loses. He said there would be a bloodbath. Now, do you think this was bad for them to be showing this again, Joe Biden saying that, or is it good? Is it a warning that we just have to keep on our toes about it? And, I'm going to get off now, and you just say what you think, okay?
Okay. Thanks so much for calling, Fran. So, what do we think about that? If Trump loses, will there be a bloodbath? They're spoiling for a fight on that end of the scale anyway.
I mean, honestly, it's just a statement of the obvious. Did you see? I don't know if you guys have been following what's been going on with the extreme right in England and Great Britain right now.
No, but, tell us about it.
Oh, there's riots. It makes Charlottesville look like a play date.
Oh, wow.
It's the extreme right have been protesting and racist, anti-immigrant protests, and people have been showing up protesting, counter-protesting the extreme right. But they just recently elected new leadership less than a month ago. And the extreme right is marching in the streets. You would think that it was orchestrated by Steve Bannon or something, but that's been going on. So I just think that the lesson here is just to stay vigilant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody thought we were post-racial because we elected Obama, and then the Tea Party popped up and all this other stuff popped up. You can't, think that change is like your remote control. It's not.
Exactly.
You have to be vigilant about what you want to see our country, our community, what our society should be.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the difference between here and England is that in England, they don't all have guns. And so...
that just makes it worse,
I'm just saying, yes. Absolutely.
But, other than that, it's the same. It's essentially the same oppressive type of colonializing culture.
Right.
But, yeah.
Okay. We've got Sarah from Tampa. Hi, Sarah.
Hi there. I wanted to just bring up something that I heard yesterday. I have been very excited about Waltz as the choice, and I'm not so much excited anymore because he is right in line with Biden and Harris in relationship to Gaza. And I'm really concerned. I listened to something yesterday where Norman Finkelstein basically said, Gaza's done. Nobody's going to stop Netanyahu until it's uninhabitable. 300,000 people have already gone over to Egypt. And I know that this is not the only issue, but it is a big issue for me. And I'm just really concerned that Waltz and Harris are, they both stated that they support and are aligned with AIPAC. And just before I close, I want to say with great sadness AIPAC took Cori Bush out this week. And, my sense is that nobody gets to the White House or close to the White House if they're not in lockstep with AIPAC.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Sarah. And I know that Harris has called for a ceasefire for some time now. Donna or Maria, do you have any info on Waltz and his position regarding Gaza or a ceasefire? And would you also please comment on whether a candidate who openly supports and advocates for Palestine can even get elected in the U.S.? Don't all
right.
answer at once.
I have to get off mute because y'all don't want to hear all this city noise behind me. Now, listen, this is what I was talking about earlier, right? I had the same thing. Like when I was thinking, okay, so Harris has called for a ceasefire, check. Waltz is a humanitarian, and he's got his bona fides, check, right? Mm-hmm. He has younger children. He has kids that, he's not rich, and he wants his kids to grow up in a world where they have opportunity. If he wins presidency, that's covered. But, before, he was thinking about how parents, feel, and he was legislating according to that thinking. But we've got an entire government that is clearly beholden to AIPAC, right? This is not the unseen hand. We're looking right at it.
Right.
And so this is why it's so important that we have a DNC that allows us to select a candidate that reflects the millions of people that marched in the streets. That's why the way they're doing this is problematic. Because we didn't have that. That option was never on the table to choose a non-AIPAC owned candidate. It was never on the table.
Right.
And so at this point in my life, at midlife, I am desperate to see something of the work that we've been doing and all of the time that I've spent of my life. I haven't been out trying to buy a $200,000 car. I don't have a McLaren.
Right.
I just wanted to see that we were moving in a direction that made sense for the vast majority of humans in our country and on our planet. So my statement about that is the DNC never gave us a choice. And I'll say this about Cori Bush. I love Cori Bush. I met her several times personally. I went to her office to thank her for her stance on Gaza personally. And she was in her office, and I got to talk to her. And the man was there, and he was talking about his family in Palestine, and he cried in her arms. That was a real thing that happened, okay? And I was there with him for 20 minutes. He told me his whole story. And I actually recorded it for Shirley Fims on the phone. He called me back and asked me not to share it with him.
Oh.
Now, yeah, that interview didn't make the cut after when I came back the first time, for when I went to the first protest. So I'll say this. Cori, though, had problems. Of course, she's a Black woman, right? She had problems before AIPAC came in. And Wesley Bell will not win. He will not win in November. She could have won in the general because of her incumbency and because she did bring $2 billion into her district. Like, she did the work.
Right.
But the people on the ground in St. Louis, remember, I was just there.
Yes.
Do not think highly of her. There's been a campaign running against Cori Bush that highlights anything that people would find distasteful or unlikable. They've run campaigns. They didn't just start with picking Wesley Bell, who's a hired gun, by the way. Now, my history with Wesley Bell was that when he was engaging with some people that were working with me, and I'm going to say this in a way that you as a lawyer will appreciate.
Allegedly.
He was, my canvassers told me, not canvassers, my organizers told me that allegedly asked that he not come back to the office because he was allegedly engaging them in things that suggest that were untoward, right? If you look at his Wikipedia, which when I said this to one of the data researchers up here, data scientists, she actually went and looked at his Wikipedia because she wanted to know, who is this taking out Cori Bush? And right there on the page, not allegedly, but on the Wikipedia page, it talks about sexual harassment scandals, a multiplicity of them.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does AIPAC care? No. They do not care. And so he was the guy. He's a black guy. He's youngish. Should be in his mid-40s now because he was young back then. And Wesley Bell was a hired gun who was paid by a judge to run against someone that was giving a lot of tickets out up in Ferguson. He ran against them. I think I got this right. He unseated the judge. And then he went on to become the district attorney. This guy was in his 30s when all this was going on.
Wow.
Okay. They just used him like a mop. And so Bob McCullough, when I was working with Charlie Dooley, we had Leslie Broadnax, who was an attorney. She ran on the ticket. She was a vote herder for Charlie Dooley, but it didn't work. And they just kind of threw her away when they saw that Charlie was sliding so far in the polls. Well, later on, when Michael Brown happened, they trotted out Wesley Bell again and said, oh, let's have Wesley Bell, knowing he would do their bidding, this Black Leadership class member. And so Wesley Bell ran against Bob McCullough, who had been the district attorney there for over 2 decades. So when you work in these places for like a year, I worked there for 9 months. When you work at these places for like a year at a stretch, you work in the political arena, you really learn what's happening on the ground. This is how I knew about Walz. I also knew, so Wesley Bell is a tool, and he was used by AIPAC to mop up Cori Bush. And it's very sad because he won't win. And she took Lacey Clay's seat. Lacey Clay was like our Wilson in Florida's 24. He was just there. Do anything. And so it was easy for Bush at the zenith of the BLM movement to take him out. But St. Louis politics, like most places in this country that are not quite South but function like it, Pennsylvania is one such place. It's a mess. Yeah. So that's what I got on that.
Wow. Let's talk.
Florida's like that too. Florida's like that too. But you also gotta think about the fact that the war machine, the military-industrial complex, is also in partnership with AIPAC for this whole thing. It's not just AIPAC. It is AIPAC, but AIPAC plays both sides of the aisle.
Say more, Maria.
We spend so much money. Think about how much money has been spent. So think about how much money has been spent on military weaponry, arming Ukraine. Not that I'm opposed to helping Ukraine defend itself, but everybody's up in arms going, oh, we shouldn't give money to Ukraine. And I had to tell some of my mentees, I'm like, baby, that money's not going to Ukraine. That money's going to Lockheed Martin.
Yeah.
That money is never leaving the country. We are propping up even the most failed of Boeing by building armamentarium and weaponry and planes and all of this other stuff to support these wars. It's not just AIPAC.
Well, I mean, you look at the military budget and it's like gazillion. I mean, you can't even count.
It's more than 2/3. It's more than 2/3 of our budget.
Right. And and we
don't even care where it goes.
Right. And if you don't spend it, then they reduce your budget, so you got to spend your budget. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Johnny in Longboat Key. Hi, Johnny.
Hey, how we doing today?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm just calling, are we really celebrating this vice president choice pick for Harris? I mean, other than becoming a safe haven spot there for children to have sex changes. I mean, what has this guy really done?
I'll let Donna feel that because she knows exponentially more about Waltz than I do. Donna, tell Johnny in Longboat Key what Waltz has done other than making his state a sanctuary state.
Well, I think that when you look at Waltz's policies all around, I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there for you to go and read a laundry list of things that he's done. The thing that impressed me the most was free lunch to the kids. I talked about those things already.
Yes.
Making the haven for the children. I don't know if you know it or not. I'm making a haven for trans kids, trans people. But I don't know if you know this or not. But in Minneapolis, they were burning biohazardous materials, HERB, which is the sanitation and trash folks there. And there were a lot of things that happened that the governor signed off on in Minnesota. One of them was, one of the things that happened on his watch was Minnesota will go 100% renewable energy at the state level within the next 10 years. And
I mean, that's a claim, but
I actually worked with young people who are doing the work in that. I mentored a young kid that works for Action Climate Emergency. And I actually flew out to Minnesota last year when she thought she was not doing well on the job and helped her do some of the advocacy necessary to help push this thing over. It doesn't happen without all of the plate spinning. So the activists have to do their thing. Private sector has to do their thing. And then all of the elected officials at the state level and the municipalities have to do their thing. So it's something that's on the table that they're actively working towards. You could say this about the United States of America. A lot of people say a lot of stuff, but a lot of those things don't happen. I would venture to say if I could stand those winters, I would live in Minnesota. The other thing you need to know is that civic engagement in the state of Minnesota is the highest in the entire United States. And the data scientists say, and I'll stop and I'll let you respond. The data scientists say that the level of civic engagement anywhere is directly correlated with the quality of life as the citizens perceive it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that the community was definitely engaged. I mean, they had some of the most riots over there. I don't really know that that's an achievement. It's about as much of an achievement as saying we're going to be renewable energy in X amount of years. I mean, from where I'm standing here in Florida, I know a lot of people agree with me. I mean, first of all, if you endorse children to have sex changes in general, I mean, you got to really question a person like that's character. I mean, we know.
Well, I mean, nobody's.
We know the brain doesn't even fully mature until 21 conservatively, really more like 24, 25. So I'm not the only one that thinks that these type of procedures should be in and of themselves illegal. So
can I ask you a question?
For a guy to endorse this, I mean, that's an automatic no for me.
Well,
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Tell me what you personally do to protect children of any gender.
What I do personally to protect them?
Children of any gender, any race. What do you do? What's your contribution to society in protecting our children?
Okay, well, I'm a father of 3. I mean, physically, I'll do anything to protect them from harm, first of all. Second of all...
No, but these children that aren't your children. No, not children that aren't yours. Most parents are taking care of a lot of parents take. Children that aren't yours. You're concerned about gender reassignment. Tell me what you're doing to contribute in that arena to children that are not yours.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many opportunities with random children I have to do something for them, but I suppose if I get the opportunity, what I could say I contribute is I try to tell everybody God loves you. You were created beautifully and wonderfully by an ultimate beautiful creator, and Jesus loves you. I mean, that's going to be what I do to tell the children they're loved and protected by a higher power.
That's fair. And let's say this then. So the next time you call into a radio show, you call in and you provide that public message to children. Because I don't think that you're actually helping anybody by being worried about someone's gender. I don't. I think that energy could be best used. And this is a judgment, and I apologize for it in advance. It's energy that could be best used focusing on. There are a lot of children in danger, and there's a lot that we could be doing for them. There's children right now that aren't going to school because of the hurricane. We could be out helping those kids. I would just say redirect that energy, because the parents who are parenting trans kids are going to care for them in the way they see fit. But you have an opportunity as a good Christian guy to go out and help some kids.
It's just a sad thing that when a person of leadership and at a high position is going to back something like this, where we know the depression and suicide rate for trans kids is astronomical. It's through the roof. Like, this is a bad thing. Overwhelming majority of society agrees with this. And when that's going to be a major piece of your platform that you're going for as a vice president, I mean, I think that's a major loss. I don't think America's going to agree with this.
Well, Johnny, there's a difference between providing sanctuary and condoning certain procedures. It's not like they're setting up a factory in Minnesota turning out trans kids for kids who are not inclined to become trans. So I do thank you for calling, and
I thank you for having me.
Awesome. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bless you all.
Can we instead talk about 12 weeks of family medical leave that he's guaranteed in Minnesota? Can we talk about the school lunch programs
exactly
that take care of kids in Minnesota? I mean, I just have a fundamental issue with people of no medical background speaking on medical issues. And even I won't speak on pediatric endocrinology. I have a friend who is a specialist as a pediatric endocrinologist that can inform people on the need for medical intervention with respect to endocrinology. And I just really don't want to give it any more credence than that.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's talk to Simon in Lakeland. Hi, Simon.
Hi, good morning, ladies. Just a real quick content on what's going on in the United Kingdom. 3 children were stabbed at a dance studio by an individual who was born in the UK, but his parents came from Rwanda. So that's why that issue is occurring in the UK. I think some context had to be put out rather than the extreme right wing is attacking. As far as Cori Bush, I think it's going to be Cynthia McKinney 2.0. She has the opportunity now to go over to Gaza, maybe protest in Gaza for a ceasefire. What I would like to see you ladies do on these topics is invite a medical professional to talk about the side effects of puberty-blocking hormones that these kids are going to be taking for possibly 50-some years, as far as what is going to be the side effect on muscles, what is going to be the side effect on bones. Because I know as a man, some of these drugs are given to men who have prostate issues. And we are much older than these young kids. You know, society's responsibility is to protect the weak, the elderly, and the children, and the unborn. So have someone on there. Also, with all due respect, we're listening to a nonprofit radio station. Have Randy Zimmerman on and have her explain what percentage that she projects in her business plan for a nonprofit organization, so we can be able to define, since we talk about capitalism a lot, so we can define what is an acceptable profit. Because that way we can then say, yes, there is money for child free lunches. I don't know the difference. I remember having salami and a couple pieces of Wonder Bread. When I was a kid, I don't know why things have changed so much with the morning and afternoon free lunches. And as far as the military, I'd really like to see your source on APEC collaborating with the military-industrial complex. We spend about 4% of GDP on our military. And actually, the top 10 countries that get any type of assistance from us are Arab countries, and that's under PolitiFact. So, last statement, it'll be interesting to see how the Jewish vote is going to be represented. I remember James Baker, Secretary of State, said, F the Jews, they won't vote for us anyway in 1991. And basically, Obama was saying, F the Jews, they will vote for us anyway. So I think not having Shapiro, also Gabby Gifford, her husband should thank Israel because what saved her life was a tourniquet bandage that was invented by the IDF and is in ambulances across this country for trauma cases.
Okay. Lots to think about. But yeah, we definitely, Simon, will get a pediatric endocrinologist on board to talk about these things because, I agree with Maria. This is a specialized field and not something that we want to just one off. So thanks for calling.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, Kaya in Clearwater. Hi, Kaya.
Hi, girls. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Lynn, you might want to read the disclaimer before I make a comment.
Oh, okay. The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa.
Okay, thank you. I was calling because I was listening. I wasn't going to call him, but that fool, I think his name was Johnny. His name Johnny, the guy who just talked a little while ago.
Oh, about
Yeah, I was lounging on my sofa listening to your show, and when I heard him, it made me sick to my stomach. Because one of the things he said was, I guess trans kids have a high rate of suicide or self-harm, which may be true. But
and it's because everybody in society is like dumping on them.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say it's because people like him who are bigoted and hateful and making them feel terrible about themselves. I have two nephews who are gay. They're both gay. And my nephew, he didn't even want to come to Florida and visit me because how people are here.
Wow.
He's in Boston, okay?
Uh-huh.
And, furthermore, I'm going to say this, and this is why I had you be the disclaimer. I don't want to hear that Jesus talk. Everybody doesn't believe that. I know a lot of Southerners like to believe it. A lot of right-wingers like to believe it. Okay? I'm not from the South. I'm from New England. I don't believe that. And we don't talk about it. If that's something that I feel like, when they put that in a discussion, when you start bringing your personal religious beliefs into it, that doesn't necessarily help a person.
Right.
And I personally have a lot of animus towards the white Jesus. I don't care for him. I don't want to know about him. I don't like him. Okay? My covenant sisters, we don't like him because we believe in something entirely different. And that's what I would have to say to that guy.
Right, exactly.
I was really upset hearing about that. And especially when he brought that Jesus crap, and you keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
And I really don't appreciate people coming on Surly Voices talking about their Christian beliefs. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear it. Thank you, girls. I love you.
Thank you. We love you too, Kaya. Yeah, that's one thing too, because it's like, yes, it's great that you consider yourself a Christian and that you follow Christ and everything. But if you're talking to a Muslim child, Jesus loves you isn't going to carry the same amount of weight, All right, so let's look at, let's see. Hey, Surlies, this is I can't tell who it's from, but hey, Surlies, Florida ballot security questions here. Will Florida again escape election fraud in this season without ERIC? Let's see. There's another one. I'm really happy about the Walz pick. He and I are have the same joy when holding a baby pig. Flanagan becoming governor would be incredible. For a moment, VP Harris seemed to be coming around about Palestine, but then she shut down protesters again at a recent rally. Her pop music propaganda did its thing, but America is supposed to be helping the people that suffer in the world, not ignoring and perpetuating it for profit. I do not want Trump, but I want Harris to earn my vote and listen to the people screaming and begging for divestment and a ceasefire. Harris is helping us avoid an authoritarian takeover, and Walz took a lot of the wind out of their sails, but the current administration is still funding genocide. Oh, it's from Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. Let's see. There is somebody who wants to show us Wendy. Wendy has these awesome T-shirts that say vote, and let's see. Vote as if your skin is not white, your parents need medical care, your spouse is an immigrant, your land is on fire, your child is transgender, your house is flooded, your sister is a victim of gun violence, your brother is gay, your water is unsafe, your daughter is a sexual assault survivor, because privilege has no place at an election, but empathy does. That's great. Let's see what else we've got here. Martin says, AIPAC seems to influence most of the policies in this country. If we are not supporting this genocide, it would not be happening. This is a proxy war. DNC is as bad as the GOP. And then Gemini sends another one. I don't think I've said it recently, but I'm so grateful to you all, Donna, Liz, and Maria, and Amina when she's here. Hearing y'all talk about these issues with such a grounded reminder of truth and your experiences is so important. I love being able to hear you all so much, and I thank you again for giving me space to put my perspective out there as a passionate but inexperienced young. Heart, 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 Gemini. We heart you too, Gemini, and we're hoping that you will join us again to guest host one day, because that was awesome hearing the perspective of the young. All right, DeAndre is on the phone. Hi, DeAndre from Bradenton.
Oh, I'm from Central Park Village in downtown Tampa, but I happen to live in Brandon.
Brandon. Okay. Frank got it totally wrong.
No, Frank's cool. It's all good. But the reason why I call is because of like the traumatic experience one of the other callers experienced from a prior caller to her, and like I'm with her for in a lot of that, because it's painful to hear about things. And I don't want to rag on religion, but I was brought up in the Black Baptist South, and I'm like totally agnostic now. And one of my pet peeves, unfortunately, one of my pet peeves is some of the scripture, and where I don't want to dig into it and offend anyone, but there is a factual line. It's factual. There's a line in the Bible that explains that, you know, gender is a spectrum. Like there's not just one sex. And it doesn't deal in the science of it all, so we don't really have a number of how many there really are. And it's problematic when I hear some of these folks who I'm almost certain who have not really dealt in, like read their books, so to say, that they're not factoring that in, that even with looking at the Olympics this year, where we have people who identify as women, but they are of like a biological spectrum. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And so I feel her pain. I understand where she's coming from. I just want to, you know, express that and hopefully get people to be more conscientious and more read of their in their own sources of belief.
Absolutely.
It's really problematic, but thank you.
Thank you for calling, DeAndre. And now Frank has given me the finger, which means it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank my co-hosts, Donna and Maria. And I hope that you will all join us next week on Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the